Hi, I'm Cody Loveland, and this is the Loveland Gambol ski bike. I caught the ski biking bug back last year, toward the end of last year. I don't know why, just randomly stumbled across it on YouTube, I think. And so I converted my LaPierre downhill bike, built my own adaptation system, just ordered some cheap Amazon skis, and learned how to ski bike. My adventures led me out to Hoodoo randomly. I had a work trip out there, and I decided to drive out and bring the LaPierre with me. Happened to be the same weekend as Ski Bike Fest, which is, I think, the largest ski biking gathering in America, at least. The group was amazing. I met all the guys that have been doing it for years. Chris Schuler from Ski Bike was one of the guys I met, and while I was out there, I actually broke one of the skis off because they didn't have inserts; they were just wood screws. So Chris Schuler ended up shipping me a pair of Liberators, and I finished up the year out there, and it really transformed the bike. I was able to really push it and learn the compromises of a converted ski bike versus something built for ski biking. So that's the history of the ski biking bug. Prior to that, and even currently, I build race cars. So geometry, fabrication, composites, all of it is second nature to me. So I just applied it to ski biking, and pretty good intuition for the engineering side of things. So I think it's going to work pretty well. So we'll run down the specs of the bike. As of now, it's full titanium. That will stay for the foreseeable future. All of the components are carbon fiber. I don't know, growing up into mountain biking and stuff, I've always liked race face, so I just kind of went through and picked everything race face carbon and added it to the bike, and it's been pretty lightweight so far. So yeah, we'll do a walk around with the bike and throw it on the scales. I don't really know what it weighs yet, I haven't done it. So we'll do that live, and then we'll go for a rip. At the front of the bike, Liberator skis, like I mentioned, they rock. I was able to, within seconds of bolting them on the LaPierre, I was able to go from an average of 30 miles an hour or so to slamming through rough powder and moguls at over 50 miles an hour. And I've got video of that earlier in the channel if you want to scroll through. But so we'll start Liberator skis, then I used what I learned in the LaPierre conversion and built a new adapter out of titanium, which this weighs barely over a pound right now once I got the gusseting in. Next up, I designed a bushing system for the axle. It relies on lateral tension to help keep the ski stable besides the rubber retention. Last year I ran just a single rubber retention device here. This year I may decide to add another for some tunability. We'll see how it rides. We'll make that decision later. Obviously you see the RockShox Boxer. It's 200 millimeters of travel, adjustable compression and rebound. It's run-of-the-mill badass downhill shock that I've ridden for years. Next up, you've got the race face carbon handlebars. Those weigh next to nothing. They're 35 millimeter rise, actually. I decided to go a little bit higher on that. Then you've got the titanium frame. Tim and I designed this in CAD over the course of probably 6 weeks. There's a lot of back and forth, figuring out geometries. I tried to kind of emulate what I did with the LaPierre had, because that bike is fast. It's not real good in super tight trees and such, but that could be adjusted with the skis, because the Liberators have dual adjustments on them. But, so we designed the frame, full titanium, everything is back perched and TIG welded in-house. Should be plenty strong, I think. It could actually probably go a lot lighter on the tubing diameter, but something like this, you know, it's not a road bike. You're not on smooth pavement. So, carbon fiber seat post, super lightweight saddle. The next portion is the shock. We decided to go with the RockShox Air Shock. It's a 2.5-inch travel shock, separate compression and rebound adjustment. Obviously it's air shock, so you can adjust the springs. So, and then we designed, Tim, come on in here, multiple attachment points here. So this inner point is the most travel, which will get 315 millimeters of ski travel. The most outer point is the stiffest setting, which reduces overall travel to about 220 millimeters, which is more than I think any other ski bike anyway. I'm going to test this first, just because where we're going to test is going to be, you know, we're not even any high speed or powder yet because there's hardly any snow. So we'll start testing here, and then, you know, as the season progresses, I'll bump it up. And then the final position, the final thing I want to talk about is our pivot system. It's a through design, it's a multi-piece design that serves as the pivot bar for the shock pivot, the swing arm, as well as obviously pedal adapters. So as you can see, it goes through. It's connected, it spins internally, so there's multiple pivot points, multiple pivot bearings there. So super, super smooth. And then the rear ski adapter. The rear ski adapter, as of now, we don't have any rubber retention installed. We don't need it because the ski stays. So you go airborne, the ski stays where you leave it. However, as we get into powder and such, you know, as the powder does that, it's going to want to kick the ski up, I think. So we're probably going to do some kind of rubber block system, or potentially multiple bungee system back here. So we'll sort that out as time allows. So otherwise, the only thing that's left is weight. When I started the project, I was predicting 22 pounds. We'll see what happens. I do know that the pivot bar, the center pivot bar, was definitely prototyped. There's a lot of weight we can pull out of that in the future versions, but for now we just want to get the bike on the hill. So it's zeroed out the scale. I've got some just random angle stock that'll let me set the bike on the scale. So I'll set it on there and see what it does. Come on in. £24 pounds, 6 ounces. So a little heavier than I wanted, but it's a lot lighter than a lot of the other offerings out there. So yeah, like I said, this middle pivot here, I'm pretty sure there's at least, well, I think, what did it weigh, 11 ounces? Something like that, yeah. We could cut that in half, basically. So that'll get us under 24 pounds. What else? Titanium hardware. These pedals, pedaling innovations, are huge, and they're in my hand. So those are actually pretty heavy. They're almost 2 pounds for the pair. So if someone's that big of a weight weenie, they can switch out to different pedals, or, you know, order without. So yeah, a couple more tweaks and we'll be well under 24 pounds. All right, so we've got snow, so let's go for a rip. So I've just done the first runs at Hickory Hills here in Traverse City. They're not open, so we're hiking. The bike feels really good. It's only about 6 inches of snow, so if you dig the edges in, they you immediately hit grass and wash out, but the bike wants to carve, which is the goal of it. So I've sent Tim up the hill to have his first go at it. You can see him just above my helmet there. So video his first impressions. How was your first run?
It's fast. Pretty easy. It's really steady.
Yeah, it's super stable, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't feel anything weird. It feels very similar to a mountain bike, like position-wise and suspension, but super stable. It doesn't pull you anywhere.
Yeah, it just goes where you want.
Yeah.
How many times you were in a ski bike?
It was first time.
Sweet.
Other than like sitting on it. So,
there you go.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Sweet. Now the 315 millimeter travel location raises the pedals by 2.5 inches, I believe. So right now it's on the least amount of travel. It's still about 220 millimeters, but the pedal height is down at about 15 inches. At max travel, it goes up to about 17.5 inches. Putting around the little hills like this, that's a bit high for comfort. You can do it, but yeah, it's a ton of fun. Rides exactly as I was hoping. There's a little bit of man-made snow here, and you can see I was able to rip into the edges a little bit. It held like crazy. So it's done exactly as designed so far. Couldn't be happier.